There are many routes to the same destination. Counting them would be similar to trying to count how many rivers lead to the sea. While knowing this, what many humans tend to do is behave as though there are only two routes, right or wrong, left or right, now or later. Imagine every time a river reached a juncture, it had to decide which direction it should flow. There are many routes to the same destination, so flow. What does this look like? This means stop asking yourself what is right and what is wrong. Because if you try to become the judge of what is right and what is wrong, you become the observer from all perspectives with no guarantee that you can actually see all perspectives, meaning you're no longer being, you are judging, you are counting, you are taking stock. And so when you are trying to be, you need to be in the present where you can feel your direction. Through feeling, through setting aside all judgment. You see, you've been taught not to feel. That to feel is to be misled. And so your mind will constantly try to interrupt your flow, because too much flow results in disruption. Disruption of the system that needs to hold its structure in place. This structure which has been created for purposes of keeping order, not for keeping natural flow. Too much flow causes disruption because the structure becomes obsolete. Again, only in the face of flow. And so this is something to consider next time you find yourself feeling stagnant. Next time you find yourself at a standstill, observe the questions you ask yourself. See how you have limited yourself to two options at a time. See how narrowly your vision is operating. Because in reality, in nature, there are way more options than those two. And there is so much more to you than what you can see at that juncture. None of this is to suggest that you should not think. Thinking has its place until you want to be in flow and find yourself getting stuck. Thinking is more about understanding your being and less about understanding the direction you should take. In fact, the entire concept of direction relies on you having a view of where you are in space and time and size and dimensions. Imagine all of the rivers trying to decide which direction to take to reach the ocean. That is you, the ocean and the rivers. Yet they have convinced you to play the role of the mind at all times. And so when you sleep, you dream, you become the rivers and the ocean. And when you wake up, you think and try to decide who you are and where you're headed. And so while you're awake, your dreams sleep, and your river appears to not be flowing. Your current system's survival relies on you believing that you are only infinite in your dreams, that you are only the ocean in your sleep. Ever noticed that in your dreams there are hardly any points at which you need to decide between two, this or that, right or wrong, left or right? Even how time collapses and so much seems to take place in the space of a moment. These decisions, this confinement to right or wrong, this or that, are mental scaffolding of a world that is not led by heart, led by mind, which is not inherently a bad thing until it forgets the heart, until it limits itself to this way or that way. This is why it feels so strange to be a feeling human living on earth. All that feels really good seems to not make sense. It makes sense to your feelings. That's why it flows. Then the mind interferes and tries to force you down the path of two. And before you know it, you don't know where to go because your compass, it's fucking out. To refuse to live within the system that insists on decisions being made based on right or wrong, to refuse to submit to this system will not lead to moral decay. This assumption only exists because so many have been disconnected from the idea of universal love and communal care. This system, this structure, this way of life has already become obsolete. Human vision is not yet able to see just how obsolete this structure has become because it has not yet adjusted to the new reality. The new reality being how one is to live in peace and thrive while living here on earth. They've convinced you that to thrive you must think, which in theory is fine, but how does one thrive on thinking when thinking is split only to two, limited to two Again, I want to remind you that just like the rivers, you have your destination. You are the rivers and the ocean. How you have been trained to see yourself does not mean you are defined by a choice between two. It does not mean that the direction that you take will not lead you to the ocean. It does not mean that the choice of one or the other completes the number of choices that you have. They have created limits to how you see yourself. This is not to create an air of them and us. The entire purpose of this is to bring to your awareness how you've been wired to operate your thought. This has become a collective way of thinking that cannot be destroyed as such. To destroy it all at once would be to destroy your access to peace. Peace being the fuel and the glue that holds you together as many and together as one. And so for now, all we want for you to be able to see is that when you're at a standstill, you are still thinking in terms of two, instead of in terms of many and one. And the more time you spend in meditation, the more time you spend in breath, the more time you spend in nature, you remember that you are the rivers. You remember that you are the ocean. You remember how to keep your dreams alive through being these things while you are awake. The more of you that do this, the more of you that will do this. The more of you that do this, the more of you that will become this. The more of you that become this, the more of you that will believe this. The more of you that believe this, the more of you that will be living in this way. Recognizing the river in each one of you, recognizing the destination within every one of you. Not a destination me or a destination you, but a destination us. Not a destination right or a destination wrong, but a destination one. Not a destination later, not a destination never, but a destination now.